Hello everyone, this is Super Dimensional One. Today I'll be reviewing Bandai's 144 scale VF-11C Thunderbolt from the series Macross 7. This kit was originally produced in 1994 and currently retails for 900 yen. This is a 2-in-1 kit, as you can see. It comes with the mech, the Battroid mode, and fighter mode. So let's take a quick look at the box of this kit. So just want to briefly show you that the box art has some pretty nice images. If you can see it, it has some details of the fighter mode and the Battroid mode in English. It tells you its dimensions, details on the engines, thrust, speed, cruising altitude, and even the armaments. So here's of course the picture of the fighter and Battroid mode model kits. It's number 2 in a series. Bandai only made 4 of these kits, Macro 7 kits, in 144 scale. First one being the Fire Valkyrie, and next being the Nightmare. Last one was the VF-11 Max L Mylene version, which is pink and white. Okay, and let's take a quick look at what they included. So, other than the kit, they had the full stickers. Yeah. And then next, last but not least, is the instructions. So, there's an image, some details in Japanese, and a painting guide. This is the VF-11C, which was for this kit, and a VF-11B variant. I believe this is from the paint scheme from Macross Plus. The only difference between this and the C version is the thrusters. So you have Bandai provided the extra thrusters for this kit as well, so you could make this variant. So some details on the cockpit and the gun pod. Let's take a quick look at the instructions. So this is a 90s kit, so most of the pieces, most of the parts are 2 halves. The forearms are 2 halves with polycaps, so is the shoulders. Here we got the legs, the head, chest, which probably has the most pieces. And of course you got the instructions for the fighters. There's a set of 4 sprues on this kit, which also includes a clear canopy and polycaps. One thing to note is that this kit only came in 1 color. So any color you see on these kits is mainly because I painted it. So let's take a quick look at the kit now. So here's the front of the kit. Whoops. The side. And the back. Okay. So now, let's start looking at the articulation on this kit. The head was secured by a ball joint polycap, just like the polycap set that came with this is pretty much like the Gundam Wing kits that came out at the same time. So you can spin 360, but I don't want to wear down the ball joints, so I won't do it here. Same with the hands, just a polycap. Hands, just like the Gundam Wing kits, are also connected by a ball joint, so they spin 360 as well. Trust me on that. Alright. And then, let's see, the polycap joints for the arms, they can spin 360. Also, peg into a polycap for the elbow. That means you can turn the arm 360 as well. Let's see, you can bend 90 degrees. And it can move, the arms can move outward 90 degrees as well. One thing to note is that the wings on the back are very wide, so the elbows actually bump up against it, so if you want to bend the arm, you need to move it out a little bit before bending them. That being said, let's see, the leg also knocks up against the wings, so that's another thing right there. Let's take a look at articulation of the legs. So bending forward, not a whole lot of range there. Now bending backward, you got a little bit more range. Legs are connected via ball joints to polycaps, so a little bit of motion there. So you can twist the legs a little bit, inward, outward. Just show that to you right here this way. Okay, and now the knee. So not a lot of not a lot of range there as well. It just bends maybe 45 degrees backwards and 45 degrees forwards. That's not something you normally do though. The feet don't bend much either, so yeah, the design of this kit kind of hinders its articulation. It cannot move side to side either. These sides kind of prevent that as well. Okay, and last but not least, the backpack. So these boosters are connected via peg to a hard I don't know, connector piece. Now I replaced it with polycaps that I had, spare polycaps I had from some old Gundam kits. So I figured it was a safer bet since it would stay on better. Sorry about that. I initially broke this kit. So there's that Battroid mode. Okay, now let's take a quick look at the fighter mode. So lengthwise, it's almost as tall as, it's a little longer than the Battroid. Oops, can't see that, huh? Let me move it back. So it's a pretty good sized fighter. Yeah, it has a good amount of details. There's a lot of panel lines for a kit this size. Probably a good thing. If there was more panel lines than this, it'd probably look a little too cluttered. Now, this is probably one of my favorite fighter modes, fighter Vertex. Yeah, this was actually the first kit I got since I stopped building models in the 80s. Okay, let's do a quick comparison. So you've got the VF-11 Nightmare. It's a stealth fighter, so it has that familiar triangle shape. It's a little lengthwise. It's a little shorter than the VF-11. And you got the side profile. Take up the front. Of course, different fighters. Of course, different designs. Alright, and let's do a quick comparison against the VF-1. So this is my old IMA kit, also 1/44 scale. Pieces are broken off of this. This is something I destroyed when I was a kid. One day, hopefully I'll fix it up. But that'll be for another time. See, the kit's definitely a lot bigger than the original. Alright, now let's do a quick comparison with the Battroid mode. So here is the VF-11. Here's the Nightmare. You know, I also forgot to mention that there are accessories for this kit. Here is the gun pod. It's a good sized gun pod. It's not too big compared to the Nightmare's gun pod. This one doesn't hinder its motion in any way. So you could bend the arm. There you go. And last but not least, you got the shield. It's connected by a peg from the arm into the shield. So here's the peg. It's kind of big actually, and this snugly fits in there. All right, back to the comparison. So there's the Nightmare and the Thunderbolt. There's the Thunderbolt mugging the Nightmare, and the back. Alright, now, last but not not least, is the VF-1. Definitely a big size difference right there. And just for comparison's sake, here is the GP01. Turn this a little bit. So you can see this kit is actually smaller, so than a regular sized Gundam. But generally Macross kits are smaller, so there you have it. Well, anyway, recommendations. Well, pros and cons actually. Pros and cons. This is a really good kit. I liked it. I always loved the design of the VF-11. This kit is well proportioned, so as you can see, nothing looks too huge. The legs, the feet, good size. They don't look like clown shoes. The head's not too large. Has a good amount of detail. There are a lot of panel lines. Yeah, it's just an overall really nice kit. Cons, since this kit was built in the 90s, there are a lot of seam lines that you can see. So you probably see it here on the legs. They run right down the middle. Same with the arms, run right down the middle, and even the head. I put a sticker in for the visor, so otherwise you'd see a line going straight through the middle. You can see none of the cons. I guess you can still see some of the polycaps. This is a thin Battroid, so Bandai wasn't clever enough to hide these. It probably reduces the range of motion as well. Some pieces are hollow. You can see one piece right here, right around the crotch area. There's a hollow piece right there. Probably fill that in with some putty or something. But other than that, if you don't mind those small things, it's a great kit. 900 yen for 2 models. I think it's still a great deal. If you can get it. Bandai produces these kits only about every 5 years, so they run pretty high on eBay and Amazon right now. So I would recommend this for really hardcore fans of Macross 7 or Macross in general. But if you can wait, please do. Bandai will eventually produce it again. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this review. Tune in again and see or check out my other reviews. So yeah, see you next time.